Have you ever woken from a dream where you were soaring high above the earth, weightless, unbound, and exhilarated? Flying dreams have captivated the human imagination for centuries. They're more than mere fantasy, and in Jungian psychology, they are rich symbols of the psyche's deepest desires and challenges. This video will explore what flying really means in dreams, peeling back the layers from the symbolic to the philosophical. The power of flight in dreams is one of the most universally reported experiences across cultures. Unlike walking or running, flying often carries a sense of liberation, transcendence, and wonder. In the unconscious language of symbols, flight suggests breaking free from earthly limitations, be it physical or even emotional. However, the meaning is never one size fits all. Swiss psychologist Carl Jung believed dreams are the psyche's attempt to balance itself, speaking in symbols drawn from the collective unconscious. In this context, flying often represents the process of individuation, the process of becoming your bare bones essence, the essence of who you are as an individual. Rising into the air in a dream may actually be about rising above the constraints of the ego to integrate higher aspects of the self. When we fly in a dream, it may be our unconscious showing us that we are gaining perspective, escaping the grip of old patterns, and reaching toward our fullest potential. To those who have never had flying dreams, this may sound very strange, but I've had them myself. I have these dreams of being in my old neighborhood and sort of levitating and having the power to levitate, but it takes concentration within the dream. I'm not a lucid dreamer, I'm not aware, but I'm able to levitate off of the ground or jump into flight. And I pass over buildings and eventually come down. It takes a lot of mental work to stay afloat in the air, I guess. But Carl Jung talked extensively about flight in dreams. According to him, flight aligns with the archetype of ascension. This appears in many myths of gods and heroes who rise into the heavens, symbolizing spiritual awakening and transformation. Just as the Greek myth Icarus aimed for the sun. But as this Greek myth teaches us, there's a flip side to this coin. There's a danger in the ascension. Although the dreamer may reach for great heights in knowledge, truth, and enlightenment, there is always the danger that ungrounded ambition can also lead to a fall. Jung would remind us that even the lightest symbols have a shadow. And if the flight in the dream feels fearful, difficult, or unstable, it may reveal anxiety about losing control or being, quote, above reality in a way that disconnects us from the grounded work of life. This tension between elevation and grounding is essential to interpreting the dream fully. There's another aspect here that requires an honest answer to a question. How actually free do you feel in your own life? Analytical psychology tells us that the answer to this question can dictate the nature of these wild dreams. If in the dream you can come off of the ground and fly around with little effort, it might indicate confidence and mastery over life's challenges. While at the same time, self-doubt or a sense of entrapment may keep us grounded or make actual flight very difficult. A more existentialist viewpoint would suggest that the act of flight symbolizes the human capacity to transcend the given circumstances of our lives by exercising radical freedom of choice. In this view, flying is the ultimate act of self-definition. The Greek philosopher Plato might interpret flying dreams as the soul's longing to return to the realm of forms, the higher reality beyond material existence. Just as the allegory of the cave describes the ascent from the shadows to truth, dream flight could symbolize the soul shaking off the chains of illusion and ascending toward the greater good. While the philosophy of men like Friedrich Nietzsche, on the other hand, might see flying in dreams as an expression of the Übermensch, or the God-man, or the Overman, the individual who rises above societal norms to create their own values. In this sense, the dream's wings are not a divine gift, but the product of one's own inner will to power, a declaration of self-overcoming. Though there are many intricate systems, both philosophical and psychological, to help us interpret and work through and integrate these dreams, there are only a few simple questions you have to ask yourself to kind of work through this stuff. Where in my waking life can I rise above fear and limitation? How can I see the bigger picture? And equally, where do I need to stay grounded to avoid the fate of Icarus, who, in flying too close to the sun, fell back to the earth? I see dreams as a sort of mirror into our minds and souls, and I envy those who say that they can lucid dream and take control and have this full awareness that they're actually dreaming. It would afford a whole opportunity of exploring your own mind, and all kinds of interesting things can happen from there, but I've never lucid dreamed. But I'm interested to hear about your guys' dreams. Have you ever flown in your dreams or levitated? And have you ever lucid dreamed? Because I've only met a few people who have ever actually done that or have claimed to have been able to do that. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for a few, and I will see you all in the next video.